Lovecast with Dave O Rama.
The Lovecast. The Lovecast. The Lovecast.
Lovecast with Dave O Rama.
Greetings, Earthlings, astral visitors, shapeshifters, and musical lunatics. Welcome to the next edition of the Lovecast. My name is Dave O Rama, and I bring you the Lovecast every weekend as a way of distracting you from the troubling times with my selection of positive vibes. The Lovecast reaches your ears every week through the transmissions emanating from CIUT FM Toronto, which broadcasts to Southern Ontario and Upper State New York. You can also tune in on the World Wide Web through CIUT FM's online platforms. The show is also syndicated by our friends at CJMP FM and CVOX Radio for our listeners on the west coast of Canada. And you can also find the Lovecast on the Ubuntu.fm music network, originating from South Africa and available online. Past episodes of the program can be revisited at mixcloud.com/Dave O Rama or at thelovecast.podbean.com, and the music logs for each show can be found connected to each podcasted episode of the program. I also post the latest podcasted episodes of the program at my social media page, The Lovecast with Dave O Rama, on Facebook. The Lovecast can also be experienced on many popular online streaming platforms. In fact, there are literally hundreds of Lovecasts to enjoy at our online audio archives, so go do some exploring. Welcome to the program, and I hope you're in the mood for some tasty Lovecast sets. I'm still feeling fairly mellow as I decompress after attending the 2025 Juno Awards presentation in Vancouver. As the moon resets, Dave O Rama is going to move in on the down low, beginning with a beautiful song from the gorgeous voice of Brazilian legend Caetano Veloso, as we begin with a song that's not about the moon here on the Lovecast.
Lua, 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 lua. Por momento, meu canto contigo compactua. E mesmo o vento canta-se compacto no tempo e estanca. Branca, 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 branca. A minha, nossa voz atua sendo silêncio. Meu canto não tem nada a ver com a lua. Lua, 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 lua. Por momento meu canto contigo compactua. E mesmo o vento canta-se compacto no tempo e estanca. Branca, 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 branca. A minha, nossa voz atua sendo silêncio. Meu canto não tem nada a ver com a lua. Lua, 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 lua. Por momento, meu canto contigo compactua. E mesmo o vento canta-se compacto no tempo e estanca. Branca, 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 branca. A minha, nossa voz atua sendo silêncio. Meu canto não tem nada a ver com a Lua, 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 lua. Lua, 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 lua. Lua, 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 lua.
Hi, I'm Dana Ashby, director and choreographer, and this is the Lovecast with Dave O Rama.
Vibration is by her order, that some obtain preordained pain or pleasure.
Both are half empty most of the time. Does it really matter where you come from? We're all living on the same earth under one big sun, but some are out of water and some are out of air and some are out of food. So how can you compare? It ain't fair when you have so much that you just don't care. But if everybody out there tried a little every day, well, that's a lot of little somethings that could bring a new day. So don't you dare give up now or sit and wait around for somebody else to fix it. Get your feet on the ground, the ground, the ground, the ground, the ground, and make a sound. 'Cause what we need is to find a way to leave hate behind and let love be our redemption. With no more exemption. I'm giving all the love I got, hoping it will hit the spot right on. And if you wanna give some too, I know that it will see us through till dawn.
Something sweet and soulful and brand new from Vancouver Island-based Angelica and the Challengers, and A Thing About Love featuring Angelica Gabrielle Challenger on vocals and keys. Stream it on YouTube at Angelica Challenger Music. Canadian blues musician Matt Andersen performing with the Big Bottle of Joy, a Juno Blues nominee from 2024. Something for my friends out here on the coast to acknowledge our fractured geography from Matt Andersen, called Only an Island. Also from the 2020 release called Buffering Juju, South African duo Dumama and Kechou with something called Mother Time, which was later turned into a short film shot in the Namibian desert by director Ayanda Duma. You can find the film Mother Time on YouTube. Dumama and Kechou and Mother Time going out with love to my dear friend Joyce B, who celebrated her 80th birthday last weekend. Happy birthday, JB. And we began with a song dedicated to the moonless night, delivered in the gentle voice of Brazilian legend Caetano Veloso. The song Lua, 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 going all the way back to 1975 and his 10th studio album, Joia. Caetano Veloso is 82 years young and has released over 60 albums and more than 100 singles, and he possesses one of the most beautiful voices in music. You're chilling out with Dave O Rama on the first weekend of April as the West Coast bursts into bloom. Wherever you may be, if you're just pulling out of winter, I wish you flowers very soon. Right now, from the 2020 album Balafon Sketches, the group Contours, collaborating with Callum Connell on a composition called Keld, as we slide further into the Lovecast.
Hey, this is Doc Zoo, and when I want to be zoning in, zoning out, I listen to the Lovecast.
The Lovecast. The Lovecast. The Lovecast.
Some Northern Light Gambian Night from Gambian griot and kora master Dawda Jobarteh on a composition called Nano, coming in under my voice. Also, in tribute to an old and dear friend of mine who I just discovered lost a year-long battle with cancer in recent months. Originally from the UK, we connected in college in Toronto in the early 80s through our love of music and radio. His name was David Watts, and he eventually returned to the UK where he would become a member of the world fusion hip-hop collective Fundamental. Watts would later move to the island of Tenerife, where he would spend the second half of his life farming and making music. Sometimes known as Dave Impy D Watts, DJ Watts Riot, and King L-Man, in loving memory of my longtime friend Dave Watts, King L-Man brings the Vultures Bazaar. Safe journey, Mr. Watts. I'm truly sorry that I missed your message. Some tripped out percussion from handpan hangman Andy Duroe with something spacey and ethereal called Celibate Serpent. And at the top of the mix, we had some contours from the 2020 release Balafon Sketches and something called Keld, featuring reed and flute virtuoso Callum Connell in collaboration. Lots of rain coming your way and maybe a bit more snow, but hopefully the spring blooms will soon awaken to lift your spirits. 2 weeks ago, I traveled through the center of Vancouver Island to attend the Salty Hearts Festival, and the weather through the interior of the island was diverse to say the least. Sleety snow all the way through the mountain passes, driving rain on the coast, and on the return, the heaviest rain I have encountered all year. All along the way home, cliffsides surging with fresh new waterfalls everywhere along the highway. It was so intense, so I'm about done with the rain at this point and hoping for some sun and higher temperatures. But that appears to be a pipe dream, as after several days of sun, the rains have returned. They don't call it the wet coast for nothing. Jazz percussionist David Neerman is coming up next with something that should be familiar to most, joined by Ensemble, Sequenza 9.3, Catherine Simonpietri, Krystle Warren, and African griot Lansiné, Kouyaté. I offer up a little meditation on the futility of tribalism and the ever-present insanity that is human conflict. For the sake of peace, from the Lovecast.
God only knows it's not what we would choose to do. Forward he cried from the rear and the front brake died, and the general sighed as the lines on the map moved from side to side. Black and blue, and who knows which is which and who is who. And down, and in the end it's only round and round and round. Haven't you heard it's a battle of words? The poster bearer cried, listen son, said the man with the gun, there's room for you inside. Down, down and out. It can't be helped
hiding's all about. Get out of the way, it's a busy day, and I've got things on my mind. For one of the price of tea and a slice, the old man died.
Martin Perna from Antibauers. You're listening to the Lovecast with Dave O Rama.
The enigmatic and mysterious multi-instrumentalist known as Clutchy Hopkins, who is an artist many speculate to be a project featuring a number of DJ producers, including Cut Chemist, Madlib, Sean Lee, and Money Mark. Although this remains a mystery. From the 2017 album Icebox, Clutchy Hopkins is the Natty Voyager. We also heard from a recent Juno Award nominee in that short set, an amazing duo called Didon, which specializes in blending North African and traditional Arabic lyrics and melodies seamlessly melded with electronic rhythms and atmospherics. The duo features American producer and musician Carmen Rizzo, working with Canadian-based Tunisian singer Mariam Ben Amour, who provides lyrics, songwriting, and her beautiful voice to the mix. Last weekend, Didon was nominated in the Global Recording of the Year category at the Juno Awards. From their excellent 2024 full-length release Malak, Didon and a haunting composition called Nastana. And at the top for the Pink Floyd fans, percussionist David Neerman, working with Ensemble Sequenza 9.3, Catherine Simonpietri, Krystle Warren, and Lansiné Kouyaté on a cover of the song, the Pink Floyd classic, us and them, going out to the pathetic people who continue to promote war in the world. Dave O Rama chilling out with you again on this first weekend of April as spring comes in all wet and worked up. But being an April baby this time of year is very invigorating for me. We've reached the midpoint of the program, and that means we have to take a moment to bring you station identification as Vancouver Latin jazz group Los Duendes guides us into the next dimension of the Lovecast with something called Perdido. So make sure you don't get lost. Follow the sound of Los Duendes, and I'll meet you over on the other side of the Lovecast right after this. Hey friends, thanks for joining me here in the next dimension of the Lovecast, where I'm lazing around spinning some hazy spring sets full of pollen and fresh rainfall. I hope the vibes I'm spinning this week match your mood today. My name is Dave O Rama, and I've been producing and hosting this program since November 2002. So if you're curious to dig into our history, you can literally find hundreds of past episodes of the Lovecast to stream at our online audio archives. I encourage you to go explore the vaults at mixcloud.com/Dave O Rama or thelovecast.podbean.com. You can also go give me some like at our social media page at Facebook, which is called The Lovecast with Dave O Rama. I only post engaging media there related to music, and you can also connect with the links to the latest podcasted episodes of the program at our fan page. And feel free to comment and message me there as well, as I'm always looking for audience suggestions for upcoming episodes of the program. So if you have an idea for a future Lovecast, share it with me at The Lovecast with Dave O Rama on Facebook. The Lovecast is a weekly music exploration radio show produced at my Crazy Acres studio located on Lovecast Island on the west coast of Canada for CIUT FM Toronto, and syndicated to all my friends listening in on CJMP FM, CVOX Radio, and the Ubuntu.FM music network coming to your ears from South Africa. I'm dreaming of a nice warm beach, mainly because the legendary jazz session guitarist Eric Gale has been calling on a Negril Sea sunset, leading us into a set soaked in jazz, reggae, and some spiritual grooves right here, right now on the Lovecast.
Hey, you are listening to the Lovecast with Dave O Rama.
Don't wanna know what's written on the last page. Let's just leave, 'cause I've grown so tired of this place. All the road is lonesome before you travel on it.
Babies of the world, this is Shahai Taruka from the Soul Motivators, and you're listening to the Lovecast with the one and only Dave O Rama.
Another take on the Gershwin classic Summertime, which is the most covered song in history. The Super Lounge Orchestra, Hammond Guru and Duzzy bringing a funky instrumental version called Time of the Summer. One of the first Jamaican-Canadian albums to hit the public, going back to 1971 from the late great Studio One keyboard king and one-time member of the Scottalites, the incredible Jackie Matu, bringing his groovy spirit from the album Wishbone, which I will send out to my new friend Claire. Another legendary Jamaican session musician, saxman Dean Fraser in the set with a recent instrumental remake of the song Money in My Pocket, originally recorded by the Prince of Reggae, Mr. Dennis Brown, coming from a 2018 Dean Fraser tribute to Dennis Brown called Melodies of D.E.B. Also, something for the lonely folks tuning in, German new jazz group Club des Belugas in the set with The Road is Lonesome. Yes, it is. And the late great jazz guitarist Eric Gale bringing a Jamaican vibe from his solo album Negril and some sonic ocean pulsations on the track Negril Sea Sunset to help you get in the mood. My name is Dave O Rama, and I'm still in a fairly chilled out mood, so here's a fat set full of gooey rhythms and beats to keep you on the move as I pull out yet another Pink Floyd cover just for you from the Lovecast.
Get back
Jack, keep your hands off of my stack. Money, it's a hit. Don't give me that do-goody-good bullshit. I'm in the high fidelity first class traveling set, and I think I need a Learjet. It's a crime. Share it fairly, but don't take a slice from my pie. Money, so they say, is the root of all evil today. But if you ask for a rise, it's no surprise that they're giving none away. They're giving none away. Said they're giving none away. They are giving none away. Oh, that sweet money.
Até fingir que havia alguém que está no seu lugar pra mim.
possible worlds.
You're jacked into the Lovecast with Dave O Rama.
You see, to soothe the strife, disturbing your perturbable urban life with the groove. From the crew who've got nothing to prove, but maybe make you move. We're sipping the rhythm and blues with the cues coming from my drum, yo, on the skin. My rhyme begins to flow and blow and grow within in my intellect into a set. You wanna sound so much time I sing my rhyme to get on the ground in the dark when me and my crew spark the fire, and that is burning and you're learning this. I turn and take ya high. Ignite a guy and retire to my room. I pump the amplifier back and forth and back around the track to rock my rap. But show no going, still on my own when I be coming inside. Back to where my words are whole.
And then you go back into the real world. Back and forth. Back and forth. Back into the real world.
I kill my palm around the mic and grip my pen and then I rock this arm, the armor lighter with the calm, the iron sight, with hindsight. I know the harm I see in day and I won't stop till the last tower and drop until I tell me set off, let off steam. I pen and ream about the dream of some united scheme. Yes, there's hope where you stop and stare, but look, it's over there, decaying into Tiananmen Square. Oh yeah, that's how I drop it. You keep your conscience in your pocket cause you read it and forgot it, but it's time I rhyme and rock it from the BLO with yo, the V, the E and the creek. The key is free, so clear the debris, cause I see rust on still a mold and bread. I bust my spill, now I hold my head in my hand and let the vibe expand, because it's flowing like sand through an hourglass. Yo, the sound swelled and the power is past.
And then you go back into the real world.
Hey there, this is David Satori with Dirtwire and Beats Antique, and you're listening to the Lovecast with Dave O Rama.
Possible worlds.
are chilling out to the Lovecast as we move into the spring season here in Canada. There are flowers and blossoms everywhere out here on the West Coast. So for my listeners out east, don't worry. Spring blooms are coming your way in a few weeks' time. Chip Wickham, born in Brighton, England, is an accomplished jazz musician who splits his time between the UK, Spain, and the Middle East, incorporating those cultural flavors into his many compositions and recordings. I went back a few years to Chip's 2020 release, Blue to Red, with something atmospheric and laid back called Interstellar, featuring Chip leading his band on flute and sax. Jazz meets hip-hop in so many tasty ways in the hands of the K Creative, also out of the UK, combining jazz, hip-hop, and down-tempo on a delicious vibe that brings us all back to the real world. From Germany, producer and musician Quincy Joints dropping in with some down-tempo jazz funk vibes on the track Get Away from the Lime Sorbet compilation series Volume 7. Some tropical Brazilian flavors broadcasting to your ears from Stereo Gringos in that set with the Lounge Doctor remastered mix of the track Arta Moderna. And to begin the final set of the day, for my friend Fiona, another Pink Floyd cover, this time from Swedish jazz band The Moleskins. As you heard there, the Moleskins like to rejuvenate historical songs in a jazz style, and at the top of the set, they did just that with their version of Pink Floyd's Money, originally from the monster hit album Dark Side of the Moon. The Prism cover of the Dark Side of the Moon album was created by the now legendary design company Hipgnosis. If you are a fan of their album cover artwork, then I recommend you check out the 2022 documentary film Squaring the Circle, the story of Hipgnosis, a really excellent investigation into the history and the working process of the talented and groundbreaking design team at Hipgnosis, who created many legendary and iconic rock album covers. Highly recommended from the Lovecast. And with that, we have now arrived at the end of another edition of the Lovecast. I want to thank everyone who took the time to tune in, and I would also like to remind you that as the spring unfolds, this incredible community radio station will be once again looking to you, our listeners, to support us financially during our upcoming spring fund drive. Community radio licenses were only made available by the CRTC 50 years ago, and it takes a huge amount of effort and work on the part of many community players to successfully apply and obtain one of these community broadcast licenses. Part of the deal with the CRTC is when they do grant a license to a community after a successful license application, they expect the community to support the station not just through volunteerism, but through financial donations. There's a lot of talk about bias in corporate media, but few realize that the way you combat that media bias is for the community members to financially support your local community radio station. That's you. If you don't support your community radio stations financially, then the stations go bankrupt, and the broadcast license is snapped up by corporate interest. There's been a lot of talk lately about supporting Canadian content and the CBC, but no institution has a bigger mandate to support Canadian interests than your local community radio stations. Stations that form a huge broadcast network across this vast country. So if you're a proud Canadian and you want to support Canadian interests and culture, then put your money into Canadian community radio. Your taxes already get allocated to the CBC, but you actually have to take personal action to support community radio. So go visit the websites of your local community radio stations and make a donation to keep our network of community media broadcasters thriving into the future. because these stations are always just getting by financially, and if Canadian citizens don't start stepping up their support in this area, then you're going to lose your public access to the so-called public airwaves. Last weekend, I attended the Juno Awards celebrations in Vancouver, and I was thrilled to get the opportunity to meet some of the incredible artists nominated in some of the craft categories that I consult for through Keras. Iraqi-Canadian singer Ahmed Maneka was nominated in the Global Recording category for his excellent Lula World release, Kanzafula, and I got the chance to connect with him at the gala dinner ceremonies. It's an excellent recording, and he is a big talent and probably the first nomination ever for an Iraqi Canadian. So as I sign off for today, I'm going out with the Ahmed Maneka composition, Oh Mother, which I will dedicate to my mother, his mother, your mother, and all the mothers of the world. And until we get together here again next week, this is Dave O Rama wishing you peace, love, and consciousness.
يما يا ضي الزين عالشط بيعدي واروح بنفسي وين لون الخدود وردي يما يا ضي الزين عالشط بيعدي واروح بنفسي وين لون الخدود وردي والكحل ومشي كحلنا بالمهدي والكحل ومشي كحلنا بالمهدي يما يا ضي الزين عالشط بيعدي واروح بنفسي وين لون الخدود وردي عطشان الشادي نور على الشارين يا بايع الودي محبوبك المسكين عطشان الشادي عيال بيوم يا حسين تعب العيون يادي عيال بيوم يا حسين تعب العيون يادي يما يا ضي الزين عالشط بيعدي واروح بنفسي وين لون الخدود وردي شطين ولوح بيدي يما يا ضي الزين احيا رميم جدي بوسه عينيه الاثنين لو شافكم من بعدي يما يا ضي الزين احيا رميم جدي لا رجنا بوغادي لا ردنا موغادو موغي لا ردو بوغادي غادو بوغادي زيغا 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 بوغادي ني انا ما عالشط بيعدي واروح بنفسي وين